really good Aegis players from more of the tri-state area. But this is a matchup we just don't get to see very often. Sora and Aegis, you know, you'd think of first would come to mind would be like Shuto and Kameme in Japan, but Kameme just not as active these days.
Unfortunately not, and I believe, you know, Shuton doesn't always go Aegis into it. But either way, now we've got Mikerowave and Roan coming into here starting on PS2. This is a pretty good stage, I think, for both characters. The lower ceiling is going to help Sora and Pyra equally find some of those early kills, like that one we're seeing off the top. A 0 to death in 30 seconds from Mikerowave, the higher seeded player, just like what we saw in the previous set. I'm getting a sense of deja vu here as Roan tries to fight back. 69 on Mikerowave right now. Got him on the ledge right here. Let's see if Roan can make anything happen because of it. Gets a good jab combo. Mikerowave on the platform. Roan's going to up tilt to try and continue this juggle situation, but Mikerowave's going to get down now on Mythra, who has the agility and the foresight to avoid those juggling scenarios.
Yeah, Roan doing a good job of piling on that damage that we know from Sora, but just wasn't able to finish his plate there and get that last confirm. So now Mikerowave getting back to work here, putting on 69% in the corner, trying to get this final big hit with Pyra. This is typically where you'll see him switch out, goes ahead and does it there. He's definitely an Aegis player that goes on that philosophy of Mythra neutral, and then once you get that advantage state, switching over to Pyra to potentially get that last big hit he needs.
If you were to ask me, I'd say that's how it's done optimally, but of course Pyra Mythra is a character you can play however you want. Even Sakurai said so in the initial reveal. Swapping over to Pyra, now in advantage state. On the ledge trap scenario, but Roan able to make it back onto the stage. Mikerowave tries to find the back air, but it's unsafe on shield, so Roan is able to hit with the up B and take Mikerowave's first stock here. This is not insurmountable so far, but that F-tilt going to seal out Roan's second stock and put Mikerowave an entire stock up in this game one. 5 minutes left on the clock. Will Roan be able to make something happen with a Sora combo, devastating as they are, or is Mikerowave going to use the oppressive advantage of Mythra to seal out this lead and expand this game into a win?
The Mikerowave just immediately getting back to work here on this last stock. Put on so much percent really quickly with Mythra here. And then just getting the parry on the side B too as well. And again, I love the way he switches between both Pyra and Mythra so fluidly, so quickly. It puts a lot of stress on the opponent too, because you have to mentally make that switch of what you're dealing with when he switches back and forth so quickly.
Something I've just noticed on the ledge here is that Pyra's down air is going to be a big factor in this matchup because Sora's up B and side B can leave him vulnerable in those positions to a big spike. But it's going to be the down tilt into the forward air that's going to seal out Roan's fate in this game one.
Yeah, just getting that down tilt into the fair, just a really quick, reliable confirm at that percent. Pyra's down tilt just so good for setting up for kill confirms around that 100% mark. And if you're on that ledge for a little too long, like Roan was there, that's going to end up being your stock in the end of that game.
I'd argue down tilt is one of Pyra's best moves, and most important in terms of finding those kills with a character that can sometimes struggle to really find. It has the Fox problem of once you get to a certain percent, they know what you want and they're able to avoid it. We're running it back to Pokemon Stadium 2 for this game 2. We're not going to bother with stage bans. There might be a character problem, it might not be a stage problem. It's just a player-to-player issue.
But just having so much extra space for Mythra to run circles around Sora, I think it'd just be difficult to deal with. But then also it just makes it hard to escape her combos as well when you have so much more stage before you can retreat to that ledge. And Sora does really love that ledge game too. He likes to kind of straddle the ledge, stall out, especially with those fun dodges off stage. But stalling out way too long
what
there,
I said.
Eating that downer spike when he was just completely out of resources.
Here's what I noticed about that interaction. When Roan was off stage at first, Tragic SD, we'll get back to it in a second.
That's OP, yeah.
When Roan was off stage, they side B'd into the stage a little bit, kind of like you do with Firefox, and that prevented down tilt from hitting. The second time Roan was off stage, they didn't do that, and that allowed down air to hit and seal out that stock. Unfortunately, Mikerowave did SD at 29% immediately afterward, evening up the game stock-wise, though by now it is not even percent-wise, with Mikerowave using Mythra's oppressive advantage state to seal out a 100% lead. Now on Pyra on the ledge here. Roan once again playing a little bit too carelessly around the ledge, getting caught by Pyra's big moves. That is so interesting. Mikerowave unintentionally, or perhaps intentionally, drifted a little bit to the left with a jump. That made it so that Sora's auto-locking side B, which is what Roan was using in that moment, brought Sora to the left. Roan kind of had a panic moment, and instead of doing another side B back to the stage, just sort of let it drop, and that sealed out a stock. It was kind of a weird interaction there, and I doubt it was intentional from either side, but it is a unique thing that you got to pay attention to. I mean, hey, Mikerowave SD'd one stock, now Roan's SD'd one stock. We should equally be, you know, ideally be on equal footing.
Yeah, but Mikerowave just been doing such a good job. He looks like he knows this matchup really well, especially the way he's playing around Sora when Sora's in the corner and on the ledge. Just because he can be so frustrating to stall out all of his recovery options, but he's switching to Mythra or Pyra and just consistently finding those right openings to swat him away with those fairs, force him back off stage. He is, and then just banging out the air dodge there, knowing that he wasn't going to get the up throw up air confirm, and just continuing to chip away until he finally takes these stocks consistently on Roan.
Roan's biggest problem this entire set has been the ledge. Every single time they're on ledge, Mikerowave finds a down tilt or a down air if Roan tries to recover to the ledge. If Roan tries to skip the ledge, usually the option that Roan has is laggy enough as to where Mikerowave can punish it with a forward air or an F tilt or just a run and dash grab. It's really tricky for Roan now to kind of think to yourself and go, how can I recover? And for the first time in this set, we're switching to small battlefield. A little bit of a, you know, more uniform stage type might help, especially on the bottom with those recoveries, but we're going to see whether or not Roan, you know, can utilize that effectively and if it's even going to matter in the grand scheme of the set.
And you're starting to see him try to utilize those directional air dodges just to get off stage as quickly as possible to avoid this stressful advantage state that always comes out from Aegis. But still, for all that work and just trying to minimize the damage, he's still at almost 100% already with already 30 seconds in the game. And that's going to be a stock as well. Getting that down air into the up B confirmed, just such a quick stock coming out from Mikerowave.
A lesser Aegis main would have up-aired there, but Mikerowave, knowing that up B was the ideal way to seal that stock out, and knowing that you had it in the bag to go for it, went for it and found it true.
A Prominence Revolt is so strong, and it's such a big hitbox too. You just get that gigantic pillar of fire that just covers so much, takes up so much space, and already taking that next stock with the down tilt up air was probably the perfect percent to get that confirmed.
Absolutely, and small battlefield has a very short ceiling. It's one of the reasons that Sora can actually benefit from this stage quite a lot, just like Pokemon Stadium 2. It's actually, you can get earlier kills here than on a stage like Battlefield, which you'd think would have the shortest ceiling.
Yeah, it's crazy though that small Battlefield has a slightly different dimensions than just regular Battlefield, but I guess that makes sense. You don't have that top platform anymore, so it lowers the overall ceiling. Just kind of an odd decision where it's like, let's just slightly change that just a little bit.
Good foresight through the last hit of Nair. One of Mythra's most DLC options is that foresight, and now Roan once again gets that foresight into up tilt into neutral B. That's such a unique combo that really the better Aegis mains are using. Wow. That was the most dominant game we've casted so far. A 3-0 and a 3 stock. I'm getting deja vu again.
And you can just see how well Mikerowave knows these percents with Aegis. There he went for the down air, knowing that it was like 50%. You're not going to get a confirm. Like off of like the down air up air, but he knew that it was going to land on the